चाह गई चिंता मिटी, मनवा बेपरवाह, जिनको कछु न चाहिए बेशाहन के शाह. How will you ever bother somebody who says, I don't want here? You want to put me in jail? Okay, put me in jail.
Is there a sustainable way of getting rich, getting happy, getting wiser, and achieving all your wants?
The more you want, the more complicated it becomes. As long as you get very distracted by what is outside, your chance to become intense based on your uniqueness
Goes down.
excellence attracts the world.
आपने शायद कहीं पर बोला था that Warren Buffett is God.
This duo of Buffett Sahab and Munger Sahab, the world sees their billions and their success. They see the wide universe, the knowledge that they don't have, and every day feel very humble about it. Munger Sahab would say, I'm successful by chance, because if I made a mistake that was bigger, I would be nowhere. You have to grind your nose in the millstone of your mistakes every day.
The painting that you conceptualize. Can you help me understand this painting, sir?
So Buddha, Mahavir, Ashok, Gandhiji, and Buffett Sahab and Munger Sahab. So we said we will have something from their life and then my understanding of what they said.
Manek Bhai was everything to you, right?
Manek Bhai की क्या बात करूं मैं? His judgment about people was so amazing. Like Nimish was not my discovery. Nimish Bhai was his discovery. Chandrakant ji was a unique person. The day Mrs. Gandhi died, the market behaved as if the world had come to an end. Everyone was selling stocks. And he told his broker, go and buy Micro Bosch stock that is not available easily. So he placed orders of that kind.
What's the power of public markets?
This is the biggest clearing house. Big opportunities get created by the gap between perception and reality.
This ability of figuring out what's reality and what's perception, and then having that courage to stick with.
Actually, Shivang, you believe nothing except what you have experienced. Would you do a business which is based only on bribes?
Hi everyone, I'm your host Shivang and we are part of the 01 Network by Zerodha. Together, we intend to bring you insights from the top thinkers in the field of entrepreneurship, technology, and investing.
I want to know, sir, what is something about yourself or the world that you've recently figured out that is on top of your mind now?
That what a failure human race has been. It shocks me, it pains me that how human beings have failed Mother Nature. And how fast are they progressing on that path? We are the species, as Yuval Harari shows, right? That how special we are. Not only that we walk on 2 feet. So I think in that Sapiens, he talks a lot about it. And then we say that with all the special capabilities that we have, and typically the hegemony, the domination that the Western world has had over the last 700-800 years, which direction have we taken? We have become enemies of nature. Nature has blessed you with all the capabilities to be able to walk on 2 feet. We have so much freedom physically. Mentally, we are so endowed. What have we done with it? Destroyed millions of species. We continue to destroy. At best, we thought of sustainable development goals, sustainability development goals. To a large extent, they are also a commercial racket. There is so much commerce hiding behind them. You can't just get away from it. It pains me a lot. Compared to the capability, the potential, what are we doing? Being the greatest, right? If you were the eldest in a family with all these special endowments, what would you do? You would look after your family.
Yeah.
You would not conduct yourself in a manner that all others become your enemies. You would excellent relationship with your neighbors, with your extended family, with your friends, society at large. You will be seen to be generous, inclusive, even while you continue to flourish. Where is that model? We don't know where we are heading, right? So we aren't happy with plundering the earth. So we want to go and plunder now the the
The
planetary
planet.
system and wherever.
Have you seen any society or any set of people or any country or any diaspora which has learned to not destroy and learn to have?
So there must be.
Mhm.
There are always groups. For example, tribals forever have lived in that manner. You don't have to go far.
Mhm.
They're so self-contained. At least that aspect is there, that they don't see the need to proliferate and go and conquer the next tribe. In a small state like Orissa, right, there's so many different tribes. I went to this noble institution in Bhubaneswar,
Mhm.
Kalinga Institute of Social Sciences, and they bring these children from tribal background. It's a one small tribe, the child from one small tribe cannot understand the language of the neighboring tribe.
Is that a good thing or a
Tatas have introduced a language lab to help these children graduate from their tribal language to Oriya, then to Hindi, and then so on. So you question that whether it is good or bad. So we think that the way we live is good,
Hmm.
and therefore you think it is bad. It's so difficult because our objectives as human beings
Hmm.
are, they've just been random. So I don't want to vilify any society. I don't think it happens in that manner that anybody had, particularly vile intentions and villainy, etc., etc. In certain circumstances, you start on a path and then you forget what the objective was and it becomes endless. Say somebody came to trade in India. Okay, very legitimate. India has been a fabulous country, trading, inspiring the world. So somebody wants to come and trade. That's the way of the nature. But then you say, Arey, I can conquer this place. So that's how our objectives have got miscarried. They've lost context, and the world is in that path.
And what stimulus will change this, sir? If we know that something is getting wrong, what are certain things that
Question is recognition, realization.
Mhm.
Take your question that if these tribal children can't speak Hindi or can't speak Oriya also, is it good or bad? It doesn't occur to us that it could be good.
Yeah.
My way is the right way. Is so dominant that we don't even examine what we are doing. Mad rush that, higher capita, per capita income. Okay, there's a good part to it. Flourishing is a good part to it. But in itself, that obsession has led to what is happening in the world today. That countries with 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,000, $100,000 per person per year, they're not happy.
Hmm.
But that's all they do.
And the countries who are having less, they want to go to that
Go to
level.
that.
And I was just reading that if we start consuming like the Western people with those companies, I don't think the planet will exist.
That's a high school arithmetic understanding.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
what's right? So it doesn't require great knowledge.
True.
Or great thinking. What are we doing about it? So when we say, okay, this is stark, right in your eye, we want to close our eyes and yet follow the dark path.
So who will change this, sir? I completely understand. I somewhat understand what you are saying, but who will change this, sir? We acknowledge
We
we like
cannot
this.
change the world. Our objective should be to change ourselves.
Mhm.
That's the problem. Then I will develop a theory, I will develop a model, and I'll start changing the world. That's how we are here.
Mhm.
Somebody came to change us. They say Indians are uncivilized. Let's change them. That's how somebody changed our school system, changed our legal system, and so on. And we're still struggling. We destroyed our own systems. Or our systems got destroyed. I don't know.
Mhm.
Maybe at a certain stage we had more options, but we were blind. We were still following our colonizer systems.
Right. You spoke about even with high capita incomes, there are a lot of people who are unhappy. But you have you have an experience of decades, right? What have you figured about life and its purpose, sir? You've seen businesses, you've seen spirituality, you've seen people. What have you learned about life and, its purpose?
So, purpose of life is to understand itself. What is it? As you start understanding it, then you say it has two aspects. It can get into complications and it can simplify. So once you start understanding, so this liberation from complications, what do I do that complicates my mind, my life? What do I do that liberates me? Understanding that is the objective of life. See, some things I do which frustrate me. The moment I get frustrated, what do I get frustrated? Because I want something. I don't get it, I get frustrated. I get frustrated, I get angry. Then I'll find villains that, oh, this guy is preventing me, this guy is not listening to me, this, that, etc. How complications multiply. So life is there as an opportunity to understand itself. And then obviously one path is get more complicated, the other path is be happy. The second aspect of this is, okay, what will sustain? So I holiday in the most
Luxurious resort.
luxurious or whatever is hot and in. Sometimes it's not luxurious, but people want to take a nice bucket challenge or, go to Vipassana or go take a diving lesson. They are not luxurious.
Or
They
skydiving.
may, or skydive. I mean, do something very bizarre because whatever is in, I want to do. So that's my sense of happiness. So that is one aspect. And the second aspect is that, look, how do I get free from want? Because today, when, in a society obsessed with rights, I want this right, I want that right. I have a right to be a girl today. I have a right to speak this. I have a right to ridicule somebody. And I think it is good, so I want to do it. I should have the right. And so on and so forth. But then my rights don't end. Every day I have new rights. I want every day new freedoms. Where is this freedom? This freedom, when I don't want anything, this true freedom. Every day I want something which complicates my life, which complicates somebody else's life. I don't get this insight. Is there some way of thinking, living, where I reduce complications or I increase complications? So this, I think, is the purpose of life. And then comes along with it that it's a special privilege that you get once you start and oh, this is what life is like. Service comes along, that you want to serve, you want to be useful. So to understand itself and to be useful, I think, are the objectives of life.
And do you mean freedom of not wanting something? Not wanting something is freedom that we are seeking?
That's the only meaningful freedom.
But want is something that we all want, right? Well, look, I want to understand.
So now when you start seeing that what is the cycle that follows from want? And what is the cycle that follows from not wanting? Let's take a simple analogy, right? You say, I have 1,000,000, but I want 10. Million has lost its value. Million is not good. That's why I want 10. I get 10. Then I say, no, 10 is not good. So what I have, it starts getting devalued the moment I want something else. Say I don't want. Say I have 1,000,000. Oh, good. Let's see what I can do with my 1,000,000. Oh, a lot can be done with 1,000,000. So it's not new, right? Kabir Das said it long back, right? Chaha gayi chinta miti, manwa beparwa, jinko kachu na chahiye beshahan kesha. How will you ever bother somebody who says, I don't want here? You want to put me in jail? Okay, put me in jail. All right. You think you've done something, it's okay.
And do you think this understanding of what you're talking about will only come from multiple iterations of wanting something, getting something, wanting something, getting something, and then those iterations will tell you, okay,
See, this is the trickery part of our mind. That somehow it doesn't want to stop wanting. So I want to go the whole cycle and maybe then I will discover. But let me just keep wanting. So as they say, that let me become first rich here. So all this is Vallabh can say all these things because he has had it all. वो तो बोलेगा वो तो स्टाइल है यार सबकी
मैं भी यही सोच रहा था. हाँ,
ये तो स्टाइल है
हाँ. Everybody says this.
Everybody will
After they get
हाँ आप कहीं पहुंच गए अभी आप you're showing generosity and you're giving all this ज्ञान. There may be elements of truth to it.
Mhm.
There may be more than that just element. It doesn't matter. It's your own journey. So as I said, that it is your honesty that will help you. Now, if I say I am pretending because it sounds good on camera, I'm talking to someone 50 years younger, so I must talk in a lofty manner, etc., etc. What does it do to me? Does it complicate me? Does it liberate me?
Mhm.
If there is this falsehood that I'm saying what I don't really believe, or I'm overstating it, what will happen to my mind?
complicate, it will complicate. Yeah.
So, am I being wise about it? Have I understood the purpose of life? I just talked about it. So, this is an every moment exercise. Are you being truthful? Are you wanting to establish, no, I am not like others. I am very different. When I say I really mean it, I'm not saying because I'm rich and successful. Then I want to prove that to you. Should I say? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know exactly what is the state of my mind. I try not to complicate. That's all. That I'm going near falsehood and I realize I don't want to go near that. That's it. Once you have this orientation that what is the purpose of my life, I don't want to overstate. I didn't want to talk to you. I didn't want to talk to you at all. Only for these reasons. That you will have a perspective. You'll ask me a question because it is based on your perspective. And if I try and fit my thinking to it and try and please you, will it complicate me? Very likely it will complicate me. I say, well, keep it away.
What are certain things that you have observed that complicates our life, sir?
See, it is a personal journey.
Mhm.
And there are no cookie cutters. So what we are not wanting to do is to live a life of alertness, being alert as to what's happening inside. I don't want that. We don't want to be alert. That consciousness, right? Drinking is a social thing, right? What do you do after drinking? What is it for? It relaxes me. How are you relaxed? Oh, my consciousness, I'm less conscious. I don't remain self-conscious. I don't want self-consciousness. बेहोश हो गए. It's so much fun. Now I can think whatever I can say, whatever, etc. I wanted to give you all these bad words, but in my normal state, I won't be able to tell you. Now I can tell you, you're a rascal. This, that. What I want to do? I don't value it. I want to lose it. And nature says, all right. You think it'll simplify you. Next moment, it'll complicate. So all these pursuits, we are not conscious that whether they are sustainable, what happens day after, what is the hangover of all this. I don't know. I don't think about it. Even if I know about it, I don't know any better. So I cannot give you a cookie cutter answer. That what is the one common thing we talk generally about wanting. So the more you want, the more complicated it becomes. So does it mean that people have no objectives and no goals to pursue, there no path? No, that's not the answer. You find a sustainable way of doing it. You find a beautiful way of doing it. It may be small, it may be limited, it may not seem to start today, but the internal journey is starting.
A lot of young people, including myself, sir, at this age, wants to get rich, right? And with the context that I have right now, this desire of getting rich is somewhat complicating our lives. In some sense, maybe. is there a sustainable way of doing that? And is there a sustainable way of getting rich, getting happy, getting wiser, and achieving all your wants? That is young people that we have in
Of
us.
course.
What is that way?
So as long as I follow certain rules, right? So if I just look at nature around me,
Hmm.
it says I have provided, by and large, for all species, right? They have a defense mechanism, they have an attack mechanism. It has provided food for you. It gives you birth in an environment where you are likely to survive. So look at the whole plan. So we say, oh, I am here in a perfect place. And let's see, what do I do? So one, I don't violate nature. I understand my position.
Okay.
Second, we say leopards on IIT. Leopards are seen in IIT. So man says, oh, leopard has encroached IIT.
No, you have encroached leopards, please.
So as long as I understand, am I encroaching anybody? So whether I'm taking somebody's money, I'm taking somebody's place, I'm encroaching on somebody's reputation, I'm conscious. I don't want to encroach on anybody. So I say, oh, this is what my nature positioning is. And this is in harmony with
Nature.
my inner nature, my outer nature. That's my first rule. So automatically this means I don't lie because somebody trusts me. I don't take anybody's money. I'm very careful. What is not mine, I don't take. I say somebody trusts me for sexual good conduct. True, because this is what I expect of all around me. So I won't do it. Do I lose my discretion by becoming unconscious, by letting, I don't want to be alert, I want to be blah, blah, because I don't know what I'm doing next. So he says, no, I won't do this. So these are natural rules. So today, when you have these natural rules, these are rules embedded in nature, and you see them all around, that how you get punished. That the moment a creature encroaches, creature gets punished. We also get punished, but somehow because we are a privilege, we try and, get out of it. No, I have got, my hands are very far. My son has created and, caused an accident, etc. But my son, he doesn't have to go to jail. I will do whatever. So I don't want to follow nature's rules. So that is my problem. Once I start following nature's rules, I live in peace. I live in harmony. And does it mean I won't have creativity? No, I will have creativity. So take a Kabir Das, right? Because it's a well-known story. What does he do? Does he make a living? Yes, he's a weaver.
Okay.
So he says, I'll weave. Because, this is what I was adopted by somebody who was a weaver. I know this. I'll keep weaving.
Okay.
And I'll do a good job of it. And wherever it takes me. He was a spiritual master, probably, enlightened soul, etc., whatever. So he didn't want more. But he says, okay, I can weave fantastic stuff. He'll get me whatever good value. Somebody identifies. If you follow excellence, while you follow these natural rules that we can see in nature, excellence comes to you easily. You become conscious, you say, no, I want to be excellent at what I do. What happens? What is excellence? When you go into a shop and you have all these products displayed, the good product, quality product, does it attract you?
It does, I think.
That's excellence. Excellence attracts the world. It'll attract. It's like a lamp. The lamp may not be able to see anybody, but everybody is able to see the lamp. Excellence. So what else adds to excellence? Say if you are excellent and helpful, do you think you will get more market?
I think yes.
Even if you say, I don't know how I will get a reward for my helping, you say, but no, if somebody needs my help, I want to give help. You don't know, but bound to be. They'll say, yaar, ek ladka tha yaar. He came out to help me. Of all the millions of people that person might have met, he'll remember you. Not only that, his goodwill starts flowing. We don't know how all these things work, but they work. But practically, at least you can understand that he would have met all the famous people, first ranker, second ranker, rich person. Who will he remember?
The guy who helped.
So there is a set of commonsensical rules that come along. because you are no more busy encroaching, iska kar lo, uska kar lo. You're not doing that. So you still have a lot of energy that nature has provided. You'll get to work, you'll get focused. You'll do a lot of these things naturally. So intuition that gets clouded by all what is happening around you, by getting tempted to do that, to become this, to become X, become Y, become Z, I start becoming myself. And only when I stop doing all of that, I discovered, oh, there is so much inside me. This is the internal journey I talked about. This is the internal journey that we start walking. And that is completely aligned with nature because you had a past. Or you at least have uniqueness, even if you don't believe in the past, right? That even in you have a siblings, how many siblings you have?
I'm a single child, but my
You're a single child, right? But you see siblings around you, right? Are you exactly like your mother?
no,
Exactly like your father? Exactly like your father,
not exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So you may think that I have glitter, but you don't know how you are internally. Maybe you're more like your mother, right? So you are unique. Every child is unique. What does that uniqueness mean? Unless you go inside and look at that uniqueness, you're constantly following models outside. So how this introverting starts creating that intensity, right? Earlier you were talking about
That
intensity. So as long as you get very distracted by what is outside, your chance to become intense based on your uniqueness
goes down.
goes down.
And this Vipassana is the way, is Vipassana the way to, increase that intensity? That is one question.
I have found this.
You have found this, yeah.
Okay, but I didn't find it upfront. I can't really say that what led to what, but you were born with a perspective that you look at things in a certain manner. Your mind has certain priorities. It has fears. So you're a bundle of all these things. And your life journey is shaped by this internal constitution, this uniqueness. As you start understanding this uniqueness, you start getting closer to the source code. That's about it all I can say. So somewhere, series of events in my life, which I'm sure would have also been shaped by this uniqueness to begin with, right? So uniqueness makes you do it in a certain way, and that further enforces your ability to, understand this uniqueness. So something like that happened. I lost my mother at a young age. But even before that, I was very attached to my mother. So I was very observant about, life, my mother. You are born in a certain number of sibling, right? You're number one, number two, whatever, etc. And it gives you a psychology, good and bad. So, you may feel like an underdog and do nothing about it. Or you may feel like an underdog and say, no, I'm not going to be an underdog. Now, there are two underdogs. One is wanting to not remain underdog. The second just keeps complaining all one's life that I'm an underdog. One has a meek acceptance of this underdog. नहीं मेरा तो ऐसा ही होने वाला है कुछ नहीं. So while the underdog is visible, what is happening inside the underdog, you do not know. Or he may be a top dog and, vice versa. So while apparently you may think that this led to what, but you can't take away the fact that there is a uniqueness that is, outside affects, inside affects, outside. So also say my life is a series of events where some spark from inside made me give attention to certain things, probe them, explore them further, put things together. And that's how it just went on. So I think that search of some kind, that fight to do better, etc., made me curious. So looking for solutions, not just getting bogged down by problems. So I think this is a wonderful attitude. And then later on, of course, I made it some kind of, I've created a foundation and shikayat nahi shuruaat karo. Get out of the shikayat business. Make a start. Start solving. You don't have a perfect solution. You don't know whether it'll get solved. But your mind has gone out of now shikayat to shuruaat, from negativity to positivity to creativity. So this attitude of shikayat nahi shuruaat karo ये try करो, वो try करो, इसके पास जाओ, उसके पास जाओ, whatever, etc. So I think that's what just kept taking me to different people, different journeys. And then by and by, some of this uniqueness, what it was propelling, what it meaning it had, they start becoming, principles. And then you see, you get results, you get feedback about those attitudes and practices. And then before you know, it just becomes a way of life. So that's my journey, I would say.
And somewhere I was reading that you mentioned that while you were young, you were driven by curiosity and passion for knowledge.
So curiosity is that, right? Passion
Yeah.
for knowledge. I mean, once you're curiosity, that you want to know more. You have questions you want, and you don't want to just say, okay, I have a question, but I don't know what that. You want to do something about it. You want to ask somebody. So I was very naturally drawn to very elderly people also, because I thought they had answers. Now, in retrospect, was I doing it consciously? Probably not. But maybe the curiosity was so, high.
What were you most curious about while you were young, sir?
Variety of things. I was a good student at school, so I think I was curious about many subjects. I was just curious. And then there was also a bit of competitive spirit, this feeling of being an underdog or a top dog. So that also, puts in that. But if I didn't have just curiosity, somewhere healthy curiosity, it would have become too much of competitiveness. I don't think I lived that life. So there was some kind of hygiene, there's some kind of purity to my curiosity, and some kind of competitiveness. So all of that together, it just gave me a good student life. And then I slipped. That also I know why I slipped, how I slipped. But they were necessary lessons of life. And then how I harmonized it. जैसे शिकायत नहीं शुरुआत करो. Again, slip हो गए, गिर गए, ठीक है, चलो आगे. And then how I made a clean break from that weak phase to something very, very nice. And then I would, I mean, and if anyone cares to listen and anyone sees any value in it, get out of the hole. Life will make you feel time and again that you are in a hole. Don't remain there. Just be determined to get out of the hole. Do whatever you can without feeling bitter. Convert that hole as a suggestion by nature to become creative. Do your best. How the universe will come to help you.
Can you give us an example through a medium of story of you going into an hole and then coming back? That would help us understand this concept the best.
So, two, I must have been 17 or so.
Hmm.
17, I don't remember exactly. Something happened that made me sad and depressed. And you try and deal with it in whatever manner that I want to talk to this person, but this person is not talking to me the way I want that person to talk to me. So, in a depressed mind, think like that. It's very easy to get displeased because it's already in that state. Everything displeases. And the more it tries, the more it displeased it becomes. So, you sulk. So, I guess I was in some kind of sulking mood. But somehow there was something in me say, I don't want to remain here. So, I remember I picked up a book at home by J. Krishnamurti. Now, I remember reading about, I just random opened some page and started reading it. It was about ego. And it was my good luck that I saw that, okay, whoa, was my ego at play in some manner? And I think, I don't remember how long I read and how much I read, but I remember that distinctly. And I say, oh, this is my ego. It is hurting me. Why should I hold on to it? And they started a journey. So from a small event which made me depressed to another event where I slipped in my academics and I had great anxiety, etc. And again, great father that I had, he had a collection of great books. Himself was so inspiring. And we had this book, Gita Pravachan by Acharya Vinoba Bhave. And I read that and just created an explosion in me. And so while Gita apparently talks about, doing effort without expecting what kind of reward they will lead to. He doesn't say that don't expect rewards. He said don't get obsessed with rewards. Obviously, you cannot make any effort unless it has got a reward. Otherwise, it's a useless effort. But your obsession with that reward, if I don't get the reward, is terrible. No, that's not your job. What reward you will get, small, big, is timing, etc., you do not know. So you look at the effort in a very different manner. I went on that path. The second thing that came to me, much bigger than this, was that why do I want to, make a claim for things that I don't deserve? Okay. I thought that was the major problem. If I have not put in the required effort, if I can't say that I have this skill or this knowledge, and I still want to make a claim, and when I don't get it, I want to find all the excuses and blames and so on and so forth. I said, no. I think only thing that I do want to do is I really want to deserve whatever I want in life. So focus got on to deserving. He said, I am not moving ahead. If I'm going to make a claim, I know this. Let me study it again and again and again and again. So a certain kind of depth and intensity came to me naturally. Listen, I need to know. But what does that knowing mean? What is the standard of your knowing? You had a standard of knowing, that's why you're in a mess. So you better raise your standard. Come to a point where nobody will be able to say this guy doesn't know. And with that kind of attitude, I think my life is still running on that energy.
There are multiple things that I'm getting curious about. But you spoke about certain values, right? You mentioned previously about certain values of not lying, not doing certain things which will harm nature. Do you think it's possible in current world to follow all those set of principles and create a great outcome? So for example, to start anything that I see, there are a lot of things. If you have to start something, you have to pay sometimes you have to pay bribe, you have to do certain odd things to which you don't want to, but you have to do to get out of that situation and to create a meaningful thing or anything that you're doing. Is it possible, sir? How is it possible?
So, to put this in perspective and to get you out of arguing for doing things like this, to at least seeing the possibility of not doing and still managing. Would you do a business which is based only on bribes?
Only on bribes, not
right. So you see the difference between a business based on bribes and a business where bribe is essential, or so you think. Would you do business where bribing is a morning to evening affair?
No.
You will get out of it, right? So you see that, okay, your mind is already oriented to doing as little of it as possible. But there are many people who want to do a business which is based on bribe, who don't mind bribing their way out day in, day out. So you find that, oh, in the same world, different people are thinking differently. So also, there will be somebody, there must be something where I don't have to bribe anybody. It requires intensity, because I am seeing these paths along which people are already walking. So I choose one of them and then I say, no, here aage, I will have to give this hafta, this bribe, etc., etc. And then I see, no, this is based on bribe, this is blah, blah. Then I choose what I call the minimum path. Now, this minimum path can be much more beyond visible. There can be a path that happens. And that's how designs happen. That's how inventions happen. If somebody says, oh, there must be a way, you become inventive that way. So it's up to you. It's your uniqueness and intensity. So the world has always had these challenges. The famous story of Valmiki. Valmiki is a dacoit. He's a robber, highway robber. Catches Narad. You know this story. Look at put this in perspective. He thinks this is the only way. And then he justifies it. He says, no, I'm doing it for the family. Then Narad says, no, iska to aisa hai. This man has that uniqueness inside, so he just needs somebody to trigger it. He said, no, no, no. My family will look after itself. It's not my problem. I cannot go to hell. So nobody else will go to hell. I will go to hell. Narada has told me. He's an honest guy. I trust him. He said, I don't want to go to hell, whereas all others will benefit. That's it. He said, I want to get out of the path of hell. So it is the clarity with which you see the world has always been the same. It's our inability or our readiness to accept and adopt some of these things that we will blame it on the world. The world will be whatever it is. I'm not defending, I'm not saying it's good or bad. No, that's the nature of the world. That it has all three things that I mentioned, or all four things. Somebody based on bribes, somebody pretty okay with bribes, somebody okay with only some bribes, somebody not okay with bribes. So these are individual responses to the same world. It applies to all the values. थोड़ा झूठ बोल सकते हैं, थोड़ा ये कर सकते हैं, या देख तो सकते हैं ना दूसरी लड़की को, दूसरे लड़के को, या थोड़ा बहुत तो मस्ती कर सकते हैं ना, अपना अपना स्टैंडर्ड है. And then they start understanding this principle. अच्छा, आज मैंने देखा कि today I will do this small violation. मजा आया. फिर क्या करोगे? You want to do more? फिर तो complication हो गया अंदर. How you start creating complication? Because we don't look at ourselves. We're constantly looking outside. And one of the reasons about, having some reservation on doing things like this is that the people are so obsessed. They don't convert every experience into an internal journey. One external journey is a little internal journey and then more external journey. They think something will happen from outside. Things happen from inside. So nothing wrong with outside, provided I have this clarity that my change, my progress, my happiness will come from journeys within. How do I focus on that? So all these things that you're talking about, when I get obsessed with what's happening in the world, and that must be the only way, is because I'm forgetting my own unique character and what all lies inside me. I give you another example. Right? When we started business, we set for ourselves certain rules that we will not do anything which we think is anti-society, which has liquor involved, which has gambling involved, which has killing involved. से हमें नहीं करना है.
What were those rules? Can you please tell me those rules
No, I
extensively?
think just as I told you that,
Okay, okay.
what hurts others, हमको नहीं करना है. So no liquor, no killing,
No gambling?
no gambling. So these were the business models. We see a hotel has, hotel promotes drinking, hotel promotes non-veg, etc. तो हमें hoteling का business नहीं करना.
ठीक है.
So we didn't do businesses like this. Many years later, somebody came and told me that you don't know how loyal your people are. I said, Achha, that's good. I believe they are loyal, but if you tell me. He said, but he seemed to have something in his mind. So he elaborated. He said, they know that the founders are not greedy. They are quite okay saying no to money. So we don't have to do anything wrong for these founders. It's not okay with them. And there is a great comfort to them that, we don't have to do anything wrong. So the principles of certain wrongs not being done became a generic principle for our people that wrong is not acceptable here. Now, one way to look at it is, oh, we avoided certain wrongs. Second is, what kind of loyalty and faith people developed? What is the value of that?
While I was researching it, I was talking to more and more people, and so honestly, the way that people were talking about you and Enam, I'm not saying this for the sake of saying this, but it gave me, matlab, it was next level of reverence. They had next level of reverence. They were like, these people treat us like family. These people are like this. I was changing my job, and I sat with Saril and I sat with Vallabh sir, and this is what Vallabh sir said. No employer in this world can say to them. There were stories like this, which was
So, anyway, but Shivang, it's not about me and him, right? It's about these principles lying in nature. देखो तो सही, how commonsensical, how powerful they are.
let me ask you a couple of things that I'm very curious about, sir. We started with this premise of having less desires or no wants, right? I feel very sad, but I still have a few desires. I really want, and I believe this is a problem of a lot of people of our generation. I really want to be happy in my life. I am driven by curiosity. I really want to know a lot of things about a lot of things in the world, how things happen. And I also want to have enough wealth for myself. And that's cleared by not hurting anyone, right? And I truly believe that investing is a way where it satiates the two conditions, right? First is your condition of curiosity. You want to learn about this type of business, you learn about this type of industry, you want to learn about these kind of people, and you also create wealth, right? If this is the problem, and if this is the problem statement, and this is the thing that we are optimizing for in life while we are young, how should we approach this, sir?
What's wrong with it? What's the problem about?
The problem is about that we are very curious about investing. We really want to learn.
So what's the
other
problem
things.
with it?
There is no problem with it. We want to learn more and more, and that is fundamental reason for us to dedicate our weekend to learn more about from investors and
Where
stuff.
does this come from? Where does the desire to learn more come from?
I think it's mimetic at some level, because for me personally, I come from a family of teachers. So I've seen my parents, their love of books, so many books.
So those who are not born of teacher parents,
Mhm.
do they also have curiosity? Do they also learn more? Are there people of that type?
There are.
It is endemic to human nature to learn more. It is nourishing.
Mhm.
So this quest for light, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, quest for immortality, right? Around the world, all fables are full of wanting to become immortal.
Mhm.
Mityurma amritam gamaya. Quest for light, tamasoma jyotirgamaya. It is inborn. Nothing wrong.
Hmm.
Now, curiosity about what? Useless curiosity
Mhm.
or useful curiosity?
How do I define useless and
You will know.
Mhm.
What do you do? What happens when your curiosity is quenched?
Mhm.
Does it connect more dots?
Mhm.
Does it make you more useful? Does it make you more insightful? I said, no, no, no. What happened in that crime? What is the inside story about this guy? That's one.
Hmm.
Second, how is this tire manufacturing company more successful than the other? This is your positive curiosity.
Hmm.
So you know that what is this curiosity leading to? And then you will, if you are lucky, you will learn only from experience. You will not learn from sermons. If you are lucky, because if you become closer to yourself, then you'll see, अरे अंदर complication हो रहा है कि liberation हो रहा है, light आ रही है कि darkness आ रही है. So curiosity is called, knowledge is light, right? Tamso ma jyotirgamaya is light. What was dark is now no more dark. When you have perfect knowledge, you call yourself enlightened because everything is now covered with light and visible.
Mhm.
So are you becoming more dark, etc.? This is something that you have to observe within. Unless you go within, you don't come to know about it. So nothing wrong with curiosity. Positive curiosity, negative curiosity. Curiosity for the sake of curiosity, curiosity for your advancement
Mhm.
and for advancement of the world. That I think one has to be conscious of, and one has to learn on one's own.
आपने शायद कहीं पर बोला था that Warren Buffett is God.
God is a metaphor,
Yeah, metaphor, of course.
right?
Hmm.
So, I mean, we say, as you become more and more perfect human being, हम उनको, we call that person God. And in that sense, that this duo of Buffett Sahib and Munger Sahib, they are such fine specimens of human beings. Humility, curiosity, self-awareness, industry, energy, generosity, I mean, the virtues they have. And they are not kind of done with, then now we got a certificate and we are done with. Every day they practice that. So, how humble they are. So when you become humble, when I see myself in comparison to all the other forces, you have to just look at the universe to see how small you are. They are that kind of people. The world sees their billions and their success. They see the wide universe, the knowledge that they don't have, and every day feel very humble about it. Munger Saab would say, oh, you have to grind your nose in the millstone of your mistakes every day. I did it yesterday, not enough. Every day grind your nose that, I make mistakes. I'm successful by chance. Because if I made a mistake that was bigger, I would be nowhere. So don't forget it ever. This kind of humility, this kind of wisdom, where do we see it? So two great people being together for so long and so generous with their knowledge, insights. Oh, they're gods to me.
And so I was just reading this. There was a dissonance in my mind in context to the investing world, where I was while we read Warren Buffett, we get to know कि they try to ask कि whole business is long term. And but when you see some facts, where some studies which recently came, where the average holding period of their businesses were very less, 8 months, sometimes 2 years. So that dissonance come from my curiosity, my curious mind, which is learning investing. What is your understanding of that?
So if you're humble,
Mhm.
right, you understand the value of a theory. You don't get wedded to it. You say, we said long term. They understand what do they mean by long term. What is long term? Is it 100 years, 50 years, 20 years, 30 years, 5 years? Long term is a perspective.
Hmm.
And that perspective is that as long as my investment continues to give me an advantage of what other options I have, I don't want to disturb it. So when I look at other optionalities, I want to be pretty cautious about it. That it's better to stay in an optionality which I know better rather than something which may look better. So I need to understand this, that, it's very easy, very difficult for finding it's very difficult to find an optionality where there is greater predictability. See, if I find that this business is predictably good, even if it will not give me, 20% return every year, it will give me 7% some year, 5%, it won't give me negative returns, etc., etc. I can see this for longer term. I will stick to it because I understand that finding good ideas is not easy. To find an idea which fits into my set of thesis rules, where I can see the management, I can see the nature of business, I can see the product of the business, etc., all having come together in a manner that it gives them an advantage, I will rather sit with it. That's what long term means. Then I find that something happens that this is not valid. Then I have no problem getting out. Sometimes I will also say that I am in the market. So Warren Buffetts have started with, investing in what he calls cigarette butt companies. So he says, I'm okay. What am I doing with my money? I am trying to grow it, eventually to give it away. So as long as I think that, I'm doing something which I'm good at, I'm comfortable with, I am not wedded to any theories. I'm here to produce a return. And in a manner, what I think is the most de-risked. That's about it. So long-term investing has a certain amount of de-risking in it because there's a risk in, jumping from one to the other because I will not be able to judge or find where there are so much alignment between the business, the businessman, the environment, and so on. Don't jump too much. That's all.
Got it. So now I've aligned my thoughts. There are a couple of most important questions that I have made. I'll ask you those. So before coming, no, I spoke to a lot of people. They mentioned that your ability to develop relationship with people, and while relationship, I'm talking number one with people that you work with. They speak, and I'm not. This is not a conviction. This is not a shared understanding कि मुझे किसी ने बोला कि इनाम में ऐसा होता है, इनाम में this is I am seeing first time while talking to people, right? So what goes behind that affection bonds that you create with people you work with, relationship. Number two is, people also mention that you have a unique ability to create relationship with promoters and other people. So what is that understanding that I as a young person can learn, sir?
So I think, relationship
Hmm.
is not the goal of my interaction. That, oh, I have to build a relationship, so let me, do this, that, etc. No, that's not how it goes about. I said, where am I coming from? This self-aware, this, where am I coming from? Am I being genuine? Am I being authentic? Do I want to be useful to the other person?
Mhm.
So, if that's your normal orientation, if you do everything with that in mind. So, putting others before you, because you don't want too much. So when you don't want,
Hmm.
uh, or you are able to express what you want in an open manner, lot of the suspense and the drama go out. Otherwise, we are very suspicious about each other. True. So you take the suspicion out. You ask what you don't understand very openly. You are very easily, you express what you want very openly.
Mhm.
It brings an authenticity to the interaction. And if people find that authenticity is unique or something, well, it is their generosity. But I think that's the norm. That's how it should be. What is so great? It's commonsensical, isn't it? So some of the things that people associate that, there is this pseudo, there is this psychophancy, there is this, inside track, etc., which is a human nature. We have been in a business world where all these are pretty common, and not that, they don't come into play, but you try and get away from them as quickly as possible. You want to come to the brass tacks as quickly as possible. And, you're okay not getting what is the worst. That certain things, certain outcome from a relationship will not happen. It's okay. But at least I have not violated my internal norm,
And made my life complex.
because it leads to complication I don't want.
And sir, this is in reference, you might not remember this, but I was talking to Pashup Bhai, and he mentioned me this one thing when he was leaving Inap. You told him one advice which he said, "Ki, yaar, this stuck to me." He was going to private equity, and you said that in life, never ever forget public markets. There is a immense power in public markets. Can you give 5 minutes to this topic of what's the power of public markets? That I wanted to hear from you, sir.
So this is the biggest clearinghouse that human beings have created, where a large number of buyers and sellers
Mhm.
with large number of, orientations come together to deal with each other. I may be a short-term guy, a long-term guy, I may be a speculator, I may be a hedger. All kinds of orientations exist in people who come to the market. And since big opportunities get created by the gap between perception and reality, public markets create that. That the perceptions can be this way or perceptions can be that way. Reality could be sitting in the middle. So it provides a very good opportunity. That's about it. In other forms of this, the gap between perception and reality normally is not that wide. So without being hurtful to anybody, because you say, example, I bought some stock and I become desperate for money
Mhm.
because I want to pay my child's fees, I want to buy something, and you say, oh, very good, I have got this investment. But then they say the markets are down. They say, it doesn't matter to me. I held it so that one day it will be useful to me. Sell it at any price. So my perception about that price is that, oh, it is giving me liquidity, pretty okay for me because it will meet my need.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter to me. The broker keeps saying, oh, sir, आज market बहुत खराब है. I said, it's okay, yaar.
चाहिए नहीं.
I'll get this much money, that's good enough for me. Now he is looking at another reality. No, stock ka potential ye hai, it has fallen 10% because of this reason, that reason. You see how perception and reality change. He has one perception. My reality is very different. He doesn't understand my reality. I don't want to bother about his reality.
True.
So therefore, variety of situations come to play in the market. And without being exploitative, without being, being grudging, etc., it provides an opportunity continuously.
And if as a young person I have to develop this ability of, this is a generic question, but I want to hear something, this ability of figuring out what's reality and what's perception, and then having that courage to stick with the ability to only see what it is and not what people are perceiving, what everybody is seeing. Where does that ability come
There's
from?
nothing unique about young people, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So we are all young or old, depending upon how you want to see it. So this desire to win every time is the problem. I'll win sometime, I'll lose sometime. So I'm not looking for a perfect formula. As a lifelong learning. That's what public markets are also about. That's what great people like Buffett Sahab and Munger Sahab, they say that we never stop learning. Every day they want to learn only. So they don't see perfection. So they want to improve, as Stephen Covey says, sharpen your saw every day. So they're only sharpening the saw. So don't get obsessed with this finding the perfect formula or anything. Understand wide principle, broad principles, the perception and reality issue. And then say there is no reality, right? Where is the reality? My broker says it's 10% down, don't sell today, wait for a few days, etc. Is that the reality? Does he know the future? Can he say that I should not sell really? But it is very reality. He's being very honest because that's the reality he sees. So the reality also at the end of the day, the absolute reality is something, it's a pursuit of, highest class of spirituality. Don't get into it. So broad consensual reality is reality. Consensus doesn't mean that everybody has to come into it. It's a broad consensus. So as long as we start thinking, is a broad consensus about it, and that's what we call reality, it's fine, right? So if you've been a student of quantum physics, very basics of it, what is atom? Is it a pulse or a particle?
It's dual. So people, there are theories which say
That's what reality is. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it humbling? Isn't it liberating? And to be able to manifest, realize this inside you. Oh, I can see the pulse, I can see the particle, both. The confusion ends.
is there a perception about today's world? I'm talking about wide anything, whether in the world of business, whether in the world of India, or in world or in India, where you see a perception and you see a completely different reality. I'm sure there must be many.
There cannot be anything. To me, my perception is reality.
To me, my perception.
Just think about it, right?
Yeah.
This terrorist, right?
Hmm.
Doing what we think is the most heinous crime. What do you think was the state of his mind?
To him, it was his reality.
Because he's staking his life, staking his reputation,
With a mission.
his future, family's future, everything. But to him, that reality is so big.
So there is no question of right reality and wrong reality, right perception or wrong perception.
And therefore, you come to this broad consensus. And then you come to what are you doing to yourself? Are you causing complication? Are you simplifying? And then you find what will be the most sustainable, uncomplicated way.
But broad consensus a lot of times does not leads you to success in financial terms, right? Because they say ki you have to be first contrarian and then you have to be right. So first level of success is in being contrarian, and then
Will you be a contrarian to everybody?
we can't be. We can't be, of course.
But that's it.
Mhm.
That's broad. Not everybody.
Hmm.
And therefore, there is this wonderful story from Buddha's life. Okay. So, Buddha is traveling from place to place. He goes to this particular community, known to be good people, curious people. And they say, oh, we have heard so much about Buddha. Buddha, there can be only one Buddha. Buddha means really enlightened, knows and all. So we must really get our answers today. So they pose a very different question to him.
Hmm.
So instead of saying, posing questions about, what is reality and liberation, etc., all of that kind of stuff, they ask him this question. He say, we invite good people, great people. We have what problem? And the problem is that everyone who comes says what I say is right. And they give their arguments and all. And they are very impressive. And we say, if he says it must be right. We get massively confused. Can you solve that confusion for us? So Buddha says, don't believe. Say, don't believe your father, mother. Don't believe your scripture. Don't believe your guru. Don't believe impressive people, etc. Say, don't believe, don't believe, don't believe. He said, believe what you know from your own experience. Test if what you believe wise people also want to endorse it. Test whether this is going to harm anybody. So put what you believe to multiple tests. The primary test is your own experience.
But that experience has to be, you have to have experience in order to test it. And you have to,
Actually,
it's a,
Shivang,
Hmm.
you believe nothing except what you have experienced. Wherever your strongest belief is only that which you have experienced. That's why all sermon, tradition, etc. are practiced at superficial level. There is no strong belief. माँ ने बोला इसलिए पूजा कर ली. True. Ma tells you don't go out with this friend, but you know that friend to be something to you. You will go.
Hmm.
Because your belief is there. Ma cannot see it, but you will go. So actually speaking, Buddha just articulated it. And there's a great resolution, obviously.
what was some interesting experiences that formed your major beliefs in life? Major beliefs in life. Tell one or two.
I just gave you this story of, how I was very depressed.
Mm-hmm.
And I experienced that ego, how it was operating within me, how it was hurting was an experience. Or when I was depressed and, I was fighting that, I'm in a very poor state. And then I developed this that, if I was not deserving, why was I asking? It was a direct experience of that state where you're dishonest to yourself. And life has been full of them. That how we trusted people, it turned out to be otherwise. How you didn't trust people as much and then you turned out to be wrong. So, proving to be wrong, right, is an everyday affair. Every day life teaches you. Every day you experience. And once you start understanding, this Buddha's quote that, from of your own experience, whether wise people will say, whether it will hurt, does it sound logical also to you? First the experience, then the logic, not the other way around. It is experience and then logic, then you are guided. So it's a process that happens every day in life.
It's an iterative thing,
Yeah.
and it's individual for everyone. It's very, very.
And that's how, great masters like Buffett and Munger Sahib say, oh, lifelong you have to learn. So until, if there's something, I believe there is something like enlightenment. And even after you get enlightened, you live a life where you're alert, you're open, because the context changes. If I'm an enlightened person, for example, when I talk to you, I will relate to what is your state of mind and say something. I talk to him.
Mhm.
I will say the same something in different manner. I must learn what's happening inside him, where is he coming from. So this alertness of context is a constant learning, even for an enlightened person. So first is, this is called laziness or pramad in Indian spirituality. It is an amazing concept that what we want, holiday ever after. We say work hard and party hard. But I don't want to work when it's not work time. It's Friday, 4 o'clock, I want to go. Life says, no, it doesn't work that way. You work hard as if it is party hard. Form those habits. And then if you want to call it progress, I don't know, I like to call it progress. As you progress along these, wholesome rules based on your uniqueness and your relationship, based on very simple rules, then you say, no, being alert is a very important part of it. And it is so advantageous, it's not burdensome. In a world where there are all these marketing companies who are deciding for you, who are lulling your sense of alertness, you say, no, I don't want to be that. Then that alertness is no more burdensome. They are planting this seed in your mind. Your parents are planting, nahi beta abhi aaram kar le. All this holiday system is, planting the seed, you need a break. You don't need a break. What do you need a break from? You get tired, you sleep.
True. You get tired, you sleep. Why do you need a break? Never thought about this way. True. Tell me, sir, one story or one virtue that you have learned from your co-founders. I know you mentioned this. The reason is, मैंने बहुत सारे लोगों से बहुत intense statement सुने चंद्रकांत संपत सर के बारे. He is not your co-founder. This is the second thing. मैंने आपसे एक बहुत intense statement कहीं सुना था कि मानिक भाई was everything to you, right? And those were very intense statements, but I could not find anything. चंद्रकांत संपत सर का कोई बहुत एक दो इंटरव्यूज कुछ बहुत पुराने हैं जिससे मैं कुछ समझ में, तो that led me कि यार, that piqued my curiosity. Who are these people, and why are people like you intensely saying, good things about them? So can you tell me a couple of interesting stories or virtues from, number one, your co-founders, each co-founders, and also Manik Bhai and Chandrakant Sampat sir?
Manek Bhai was the one who prompted me to come into. I had the ability, but they say कि तू क्यों ये नहीं करता? So I came into the stock market because as it is, I was interested in stock market. He said, तू उसका career ही बना ले. And that's how Enam got founded. So Manek Bhai की क्या बात करूं मैं? There were unique qualities to the person. He was extremely passionate person and very intelligent. So his judgment about people was so amazing. So like Nimish was not my discovery. Nimish Bhai was his discovery. So Nimish Bhai used to be a broker. He was a partner with somebody else. And Nimish, the world knows that, Nimish Shah has peculiarities. But beyond those peculiarities, there was something so nice about him, which he discovered. He made a judgment about. And we said, let's do a partnership. So his judgment about various people through his life were absolutely amazing.
What was his judgment about?
No, कि ये व्यापारी है, ये व्यापार अपने साथ में करने लायक है, नहीं है. Or his judgment about, what should be the rules for our vyapar. Say, for example, we in his textile business, we had a Sindhi partner. Very unusual. A lot of people told him, we had a Gujarati partner before that. We had, of course, family as partner and all. Sindhi se kar rahe? We have all kinds of this. Such a noble person that partner was. For example, one day, Manik Bhai was traveling. And then we had given some money out on deposit to somebody. Our partner discovered कि मानिक का पैसा उस पार्टी में बाकी है. That man left everything. So मानिक का पैसा बाकी है. मानिक यहाँ पे नहीं है. मैं वसूल करूंगा. He went and sat on his head. कि मेरा पैसा तो खा जाएगा चलेगा, मानेक का पैसा तेरे पास कैसे रह जाएगा? This was his judgment about his partner.
And this judgment was a function of what?
So these are the unique characteristics
Experiences.
that people have. You know, because they're passionate, they're intelligent, and they pay the price for their passion. You will also pay a price for your passion because, you know, you believe in something so intently and others can't reconcile to it. So you suffer for it also. I was so close to him. He was my hero, right from the youngest days. And, you know, we would do the mischief together, we would study together, we were rivals in, you know, in terms of acquiring knowledge together in a very healthy, loving manner, absolutely. So, you know, this was Manek Bhai. And his wanting to help others. If you like you, he'll help you. He had to like you. There will be a lot of people he'll tell off. Kyun karu? Ja. Because he had no problem. He had no problem being blunt with people. When he passed away, the number of people who turned up for his funeral and, you know, really grieving his loss, huge. We didn't even know that there were so many people after him. So lucky to have a brother like him. So also my co-founder, Nimish. The clarity of his mind and the depth to which he will go. So, you know, this man can sit and dwell on one thing for hours together. How is this happening? How is this happening? How is this happening? How is this happening? What happens if this like that? And so, he knows his invested companies better than the promoters. So many times he'll just flummox the other side. No, this is the characteristic. This is what can happen. This is what don't you look at in this manner, that manner. I've seen this number without count, whether the other promoter is just dumbfounded listening to it. This is the kind of intensity, the kind of trust he has. He tells me that his father told him long back. His father, my father, both are highly spiritual people. So many years ago, once he had made enough money and he told his father that, I've got so much money. He said, why are you continuing to work? You retire. He said, don't go to office, just do this work. I know Vallabh Bhai can be trusted. He will give all your money 100%. You don't have to worry. He would tell me this. It's not a reflection of what his father said. It's his reflection. So the kind of trust he has had. So the kind of affection we have for each other. So, I mean, extraordinary people. And therefore, sometimes he would, because he's such an intense person, and I talked about intensity, how it is the most valuable quality, is because only intense energy can flow in one direction and go far and make an impact. Intensity is a must. So he's that intense person. Sometimes he would just put very simple goals. Why don't we do this? It would just uncomplicate the whole thing. Okay, this is what we have to achieve. However difficult, this is what we have to achieve. So very early on, this thought of being number one came from him. I moderated it because I found that, okay, wanting to be number one mobilizer or number one whatever, etc., sometimes persuaded us to make any compromises. So I said, no. We don't want to burn ourselves. We don't want anyone to get a thought that you can do wrong, right? You can do something. So I moderated it to say that, okay, we'll be amongst the top three. If you are amongst the top three continuously, you will have to develop practices, knowledge, relationships, etc., which will take you there in a predictable manner. And if you do all of this with our standards and quality and empathy, etc., more likely than not, you will be number one. That's how I made that alteration. But he was the one who, so, I mean, simplicity, intensity, trust, spirituality, generosity. So my partner is wonderful. Chandrakant was a unique person because there weren't many like him. I don't think there anyone like him. So his ability to be by himself, he didn't mean to be contrarian for the sake of it, because he had clarity. We had, the day Mrs. Gandhi died. And the market behaved as if the world had come to an end. Everyone was selling stocks. And he told his broker, like the perception reality, he knew that the world is not going to come to an end. The brokers are all thinking they're going to buy Micro Bosch stock that is not available easily. So he placed orders of that kind, that these crazy people will sell anything today. This is the day to buy. It's absolute clarity. He was the one who studied foreign companies' balance sheets, who started studying Buffett Sahab and Munger Sahab as early as the 70s. In the 80s, more people. In the 90s, the whole world came to do it. But he was the one who was like that. He had his own style, his own way of life, which were based on knowledge, complete conviction. I mean, absolute legend and absolutely angel-like person. We learned he inspired me a lot. So he had boiled down businesses to, the basic generics. Today, those concepts are, even a student, in first year may be talking about it. But he understood them. He invested in them. So he taught us so many things, way ahead of others. Phenomenal that, when you don't have an environment, you don't have an ecosystem, and yet you have clarity, you're wanting to, improve, be excellent in your articulation, understanding, practicing, sharing. Oh, you are a wonderful, most noble person.
The painting that you conceptualize. Somebody told me about that. Do you think can we show it? Can you tell that story for 5 minutes? Shall we go there and do that?
Sure.
मैंने इस पेंटिंग के बारे में बहुत सारी चीजें सुनी है सर. And I got to know that you conceptualize this with your friend.
No, conceptually on my own.
Or
Somebody
on your own.
executes, the painter executed it.
Can you walk me through your understanding and the thesis and help me understand this painting, sir?
So, we have this statement from our scriptures, Ekam Sat Pauda Vipravadanti. It's the same truth, but it manifests differently in different people, in great people, and they articulate it in different words. And that's what I felt. So it was very strongly in my mind, and it used to bother me that how do I put it out? How do I put it out? My own way. It's been said before. And I said, can I take it across regions, across backgrounds, and does it hold true? And is there a common underlying truth which people can relate to? And that's how I chose very different characters. So Buddha, Mahavir, Ashok, Gandhi, and Buffett Sahib and Munger Sahib.
And this is the Ghanaian thing.
This is so, in every case, we said, okay, how do we represent them? So we said, we will have something from their life, a monument, and then my understanding of what they said. So this is Mahavir, something from Mahavir's life. This is Ashoka. This is Gandhiji. So, with principles and a monument. And then Buffett Sahib, because they are living this, we don't have monuments, etc., built in their name.
And this is what you understand from this is one line that you have picked up from them.
So this is the essence that I see of their life learning. It's just a vignette, just a part of it. This is probably the most elaborated. But so also for everybody, I wrote something about them. And then I said, people will still wonder what it is. Then I wrote the essence of what is this common truth? That they all achieved excellence, pinnacle of excellence in their own field. And what is that essence? What is that pinnacle? What takes you there? So this is what takes you there.
And dharma is self.
Yeah. Dharma is the law of nature. So how it operates inside you, right? As I said, it complicates you
Or it liberates you.
it liberates you, gives you happiness, it connects things, you're at peace. So even they said the ultimate wisdom lies in compounding the returns. So this is a long term. That you got the right product, right businessman, right business, right country, a back hero. This will compound by itself. Because the world will make mistake, they get excited. Oh, they'll keep doing things. This chap will just keep on, and 2%, 5%, 7%, 8% compounding works like magic. So therefore, you see the ultimate wisdom lies in compounding. So compound your relationships, compound your possessions, compound your investments, everything they had compounding theory. I want to change, I want to hire a lawyer, I don't want to change it. Because the lawyer understands me, I understand the lawyer, I save that much time every day in every transaction. True. So how they thought about compounding everywhere? So they say wisdom lies in compounding the returns. The odds may seem difficult because people don't understand this, because they understand excitement of a decision, etc., etc. So they want to take decision because it gives them excitement. They think they're doing it for results. Actually, they're doing it for the thrill of transactions. And the world will prompt you to be transactional. These chefs say, no, keep them out. We want compounding. So the odds may seem difficult because of your own habits and your own ignorance, but you don't have to be a genius to achieve them. So what do? How? Live and act within your limits. What I told you, that don't make a claim that you don't deserve. So it's your limit. I know this is what I am, this is what I'll claim. Push the limits all the time. Learn every day. Get better, get better. So by deserving improves. But you're learning every day, you'll every day be more and more humble instead of more and more arrogant. Remain free from envy, falsehood, and greed. These are the traps of the world. Remain alert, what we talked about, patient, and commonsensical. And you will benefit immensely from the stupidity of the world, what we talked about the public markets. Because this is Munger Saab's language, he'll always talk very bluntly.